Hello there, this is me, Dory93, and this is going to be another episode of Evolution of a Prism Jump. And this is going to be the second episode of it, and it is going to be explaining the entity called a Prism Act. Now, basically, in layman's terms, a Prism Act is an evolution of a Prism Jump, and it's a bit longer, and it has more animation into it and more imagination. So, there have been many Prism Acts done. Like, the usual thing that happens in the Prism show with the Prism Act is there is 1 to 2 Prism Jumps, and then there is the Prism Act that occurs after it. But before they get to the Prism Act, they have to perform an act trying, and then they're allowed to perform that Prism Jump. They don't know how the logistics work. I guess it's just as much resolve as you have to do that Prism Act. So, there have been the first introduction of this Prism Act system was in episode 4 of Pretty Rhythm Dear My Future, and Takamine Mion was the one to perform it alone. And basically, an example of it is what happened when she went into the Prism Act. Is it looked like she was visibly worn and had no water in a canteen and asked for water and then fainted. But once she woke, she saw 2 goddesses, I think they're called. I don't know if that's what those forms are called, but we see Ira and Rizmu, and basically they green up the land. They create a water spring. Mion turns into one of those goddesses as well, and they fly up the spring, and then they look at the screen and smile. So that's one of the I don't know if that's one of the shorter ones, but there are longer ones, and there are a lot more. Usually, the composition of a Prism Act is sometimes random. There are other times when it's group specific, and other times where it's episode specific, where you'll see a Prism Act only once in the series because it only related to that episode and that episode only. So, and then after that, the 2, I believe, biggest Prism Acts in the show were Grateful Symphonia. Grateful Symphonia spanned about, I believe, 3 episodes. I'm not sure. If I'm wrong, correct me, but I'm pretty sure it went from 48 and 49 and 50. So that's 3 episodes, and then you had Dear My Future, which was performed at the end of 50, which was actually pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. And they have certain properties, like some of the Prism Act certain properties. We've seen in me and Haynes' Prism Act that it looked like they actually, what is it? I have no clue. It was like they were crossing a world line. In theory, that they were crossing a world line because they dug up their time capsules that they had as children, and it somehow transported them to that place. It might be in their head because at one point, I believe in one of the episodes inside of the Grateful Symphonia, that they showed me and Hayden outside of it. And it showed a screen on the left that they were inside the Prism Act. But on the right, you saw on the stage, they were just standing there with their eyes closed. So, I don't know how it's projecting outside of their bodies, but it's a theory. It's an interesting thought to think about, but it's probably never going to be explained. And to be honest, that's fine with me. Now, besides that, I don't really have much to say about Prism Acts. I don't know if they're going to be in Rainbow Live. If they do, then congratulations to them. But it seems that the Prism Act has been replaced by what I'm going to be explaining in the next episode, Prism Lives. And I'm going to wait on that for a little bit because we don't know too much about Prism Lives at the moment. So I'll hold off on doing the 3rd episode of this Evolution of Prism Jump series until I get sort of sufficient information to just talk away about Prism Lives. But again, thank you very much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you do want to leave your thoughts in the comments, you are very welcome to. Again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys later.